You have no idea how much I love this film, how much I needed this film today. And this might be a spoiler from my review because obviously, as you can already tell, I absolutely love this film and I can't wait to talk about it. I loved Companion. What's up everyone, welcome back to another video here on this channel, Royal Horror. I'm so glad to have you here to talk about one of my most anticipated films of the year. This was actually my fifth most anticipated movie of the year. Now quickly going through like my most anticipated films of the year, top 5, like fifth one was Companion, the fourth one is The Monkey, which is coming out like in 2-3 weeks, the third one will be Conjuring 4, second one will be Vicious, and the first one will be, say it with me, Final Destination Bloodlines. Now I'm very excited that I'm kicking off my list with Companion because I absolutely loved it. So spoiler alert for this review, I give this film 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, perfect film. But let's talk about it because obviously even though it's a perfect film, there is something that I will change here and there, but overall love this movie and I will do this review completely spoiler free. And also just a heads up for this review, I'm not going to be including any clips from the trailer because let's start talking about that. The marketing for this film is horrendous and I don't know why, because Warner Bros. Is a company that knows how to market something, you know, like they're like one of the oldest companies in cinema. So I'm really surprised that the marketing for this film is really not it. Like they revealed so much in the trailer and I'm glad I didn't watch that trailer because I don't really watch trailers for like my most anticipated films. I don't know how I'm gonna contain myself for Final Destination 6, but we will see. But I would really recommend if you don't watch the trailer before this movie because they revealed so much and I even got so annoyed that like the poster revealed like the biggest part of this film, which is incredible. Like it's crazy. Like they could have done a completely different poster than the one we got, but it is what it is. But nonetheless, I will try to avoid social media before watching the movie because social media is also revealing so much, and not like for the fans, but like the actual company. So I will just try to avoid anything related to this film before you watch it. Now, two things that I want to do differently on my reviews that I'm going to be releasing this year is the first one is that I will not be reading the synopsis from like Letterboxd, Google or whatever for the films that I will be reviewing because I feel like the synopsis sometimes they can reveal so much stuff and that can be very annoying. So I will just try to give like my own synopsis with my own words after watching the film to avoid any kind of a spoiler. And second of all is I want to start like talking about my relationship with the film that I'm reviewing to see how I feel about it, if it's part of a franchise, if it's brand new, like how was my experience with it, and stuff like that, because it makes like reviews feel more personal, more human, let's say. So if that sounds interesting, stay tuned for my Companion review. So Companion, in my own words, is basically about this guy Josh, portrayed by Jack Quaid, and that we know and love in the horror community. He is in his early 30s, he lives by himself and he has like a decent amount of money and he wants to find love, he wants to be loved, he wants to give love. So he meets this woman called Iris, portrayed by Sophie, which we know and love in the horror community, and we will talk about her in a second. And like they meet on a supermarket, they find love, etc. And Josh wants to take her to meet his friends in a cabin in the woods. And from there, because this is a horror film, things start to go wrong. I think that's the best way to portray this synopsis because if I keep talking about it, I will reveal so much and I don't really want to do that. So the relationship that I have with Companion is that this was my fifth most anticipated film of the year. And you might say why or whatever, and it's because mostly because obviously the casting. We have Jack Quaid, we have Sophie, we also have Megan Suri, which I like her latest horror was It Lives Inside. We also have Lucas Gage, and we just saw him in Smile 2. So the cast really got me hyped up. Also because like based on the synopsis, I was very intrigued, and also because it was produced by New Line Cinemas, and that's the company that has been producing and making all of the Final Destination films, and obviously I believe in them, so that's why it got me hyped up. And my experience with this film is that I absolutely loved my screening. This movie, because obviously it's a dark horror comedy, I loved that my screening was active, everyone was laughing where they needed to laugh. Like it was a good environment and I feel like that helps a lot to your movie experience. I laughed so much, so like I was interacting with the audience in general. So I'm really happy that my experience with this movie was incredible. Now, as I said before, I love this film, so most of my review is gonna be mostly positive, and which I think is a good thing because let's start talking about that I loved how this movie like knew how to work with its comedy, with its horror, with its crime, with its thriller, and even with its psychology. Like this movie has many subgenres going all around, and I think that the movie knows how to breathe within each subgenre. You know, like this movie goes to its horror elements heavily. This also movie that is also very funny. It has a lot of good comedic elements, which I appreciate, and it also knows how to work with its crime. Like the movie, obviously crime is a huge aspect in this film, and the movie knows how to work with that. And also the psychology. I feel like each character has like their own time to breathe with their psychology, and I feel like that's something that Companion knew how to do. So I really appreciate when films know how to work with all of these subgenres when they have more than one. One of the best things that the movie has going for is that I really loved the characters. This movie has only like a few characters, like 6 or 7 characters, like main characters, let's say. All of them are likable, especially our main duo. Like Jack Quaid, that guy was the best casting this movie could have asked for, because I don't really see any other actor in this role, to be honest. Like that guy, the way he knows how to portray a psychopath but being a likable guy, that was incredible. I mean, talk about the Scream 5, you know, like he knows how to give that acting, that performance of I'm a good guy, I need to be portrayed as a good guy, but behind my face there is something wrong with me, you know. And I think in Companion, Jack did a fantastic job with that, so I'm really glad that they got him. He was so funny, he was so charismatic. The way, like, I don't know, like something about his facial expressions, his body language, it's just so funny. The way he talks, like, I don't know, he's such a good actor, and I think he was amazing. And also Sophie, like, can somebody please tell me, what do you mean that this woman just came from doing Heretics to do Companion, and both films are completely different, both roles are completely different, and because they came mostly like back to back, like Heretic came out in October, and this coming out in January, that only means that that woman did these movies back to back, and that's insane. Because how do you do to change your aura, your mindset, to go from Heretics to Companion? Incredible stuff. I really admire her for doing this, and really hope that we get to have her in more horror films coming up, and I think this movie will be the one that will make her shine, if that makes sense. Because obviously Heretic, incredible film, 8 out of 10, 4 out of 5, but it is heavier. It's more of a horror film, or psychological. It's a film that not many people are gonna enjoy. Like early teenagers might not enjoy that film, or like families might not enjoy Heretic as much, because I even feel like Heretic is 18 plus. But Companion is 15 plus, and it's like for all kind of people, you know, like if you're not a fan or like huge horror films, this movie is good for you. Or like this movie is good for like group of friends, to family. So the fact that people are gonna discover Sophie because of this, I feel like this is the movie that will make her shine into the world, and I really hope that she gets casted more and more and more. And the rest of the characters, honestly, everyone was extremely charismatic. Like I really liked the main trio of friends, the couples, like the other guy, because obviously I don't want to give too much spoilers about this film. Everyone had so much charisma. Everyone like they felt real people. They felt like they were friends. I bought them. I think the acting was fine. I think, I don't know, like all of the characters had so much charisma, and that's something that I have to appreciate, because if this film didn't have any charisma with the characters, I feel this will have failed heavily. Because if you don't have likable characters, likable actors, actresses, maybe this film wouldn't have hit me differently. And that's something that I have to like give pros to it, because everyone has so much charisma. Like everyone has their own time to shine, their own time to be comedic, their own time to explore their psychology, and I think that was incredible. Like the way these actors and actresses performed, it made me laugh. It made me root for them. So I'm really happy that the actors, like the group of cast, the friends, etc., they are likable people, and I don't know, I really like that. Now, another positive aspect that I have to give for this film is when it comes to like the crew aspect, like the production value and all of that, because the fact that this is a directorial debut, that's insane to me. Because what do you mean you wrote this like to be your directorial debut, you directed this? The direction in this film is incredible. Like the director of this film, Drew Hancock, I believe that's his name, is amazing. Like you can tell that this director like stopped to talk to the actors. this director, you can tell that he knew the story that he wanted to do. You can tell that this director was not scared to like try to explore something different, something new, and I really appreciated that. The cinematography of this film is amazing. The cinematographer is called Eli Bourne, and this guy was the cinematographer of another Sophie film, which was The Boogeyman from 2022, also the Hellraiser remake, and he's also going to be the cinematographer for Conjuring 4. So I'm very, very, very excited about that, because yeah, the cinematography in this film was gorgeous. I really liked that this movie had a lot of like wild shots, close-up shots, the setup inside the house, outside of the house. I love how everyone looked thanks to the camera work. I love the different kind of shots that this movie has. For example, there is so many shots where we have the main character or like any character, and we can see something happening behind them. So that was really clever. The communication between the camera and the cast. That was really, really, really good. And also the editing is fantastic. Like the pacing of this film is incredible. Like this movie almost feels like a short film, and this movie is almost 2 hours. This movie is like 1 hour 45, but it feels so short, and I think it's all thanks to the pacing, the editing, and obviously the direction. Like everything is so well combined in this film, and I think that's why this movie is a 5-star film for me. Now let's just talk about what we came for, and it's the storyline. I love the storyline, and I feel like this concept, even though it's not that brand new, because we have seen this concept done before, especially in the last couple of years after pandemic and with how technology is growing. We have seen this concept before slightly, but I do feel like Companion manages to be extremely original, and that's something that I really appreciate. I like the storyline. Honestly, I did not see any of the plots coming. And I'm glad, because that got me by surprise, and that made me love this movie even more. I love the exploration of different themes in this movie, such as toxic relationships, abuse, possessive power, toxic love, also real love, isolation, loneliness. Like this movie knows how to portray that so well. I love that this movie knew how to communicate that loneliness taken to an extreme can be very, very dangerous, but also like toxic love to an extreme can be like taken very, very dangerously. So I did like the exploration of love in this film, because even though this movie portrays toxic relationships and all of that, it also portrays what it feels to love someone so much that like you will do anything for that person, let's say, or what it feels to explore love of any kind. And I really like that, because I love when horror films explore things like that, and they can be taken to the extreme of being a horror film, like in Companion, if that makes sense. So I did like that love is the main theme in this film, but it's not just love, it's everything that comes with love, you know what I mean? So, and because as the movie is progressing, and as the things are like revealing and all of that, you get to discover love, and it's different. So it's different sub themes in love, if that makes sense. So I also like the exploration of different human themes, such as judging, or such as trying to cover like your friend's mess, or like would you go to that extreme to protect someone, and all of that. And now one of the biggest things that I loved about this film is the exploration of what happens when you give a lot of power to the wrong person. And that's something we're experiencing nowadays heavily, that what happens if you offer technology to someone with power and money. Things could go so wrong with that, and I think Companion portrayed that so well, because obviously if you watch the film you know what I mean. But I do love a lot that the Companion has so many themes explored, and all of them are so well executed. If there is something that I will critique about this film, although I don't have many critiques about it, it could be maybe that I wish the movie pushed it more when it comes to like the blood or the gore, or like it's a slasher subgenre. Because even though this movie is not a slasher, it could be portrayed, or it could be felt as if it wants to be one, and I wish the movie pushed itself more with that, and I think they could have. And I also personally didn't like the very, very, very ending. I think it felt a bit rushy, or not rushy, but like it felt a bit unrealistic when it comes to the movie, or like the main character, because obviously I don't want to give spoilers, but after this reveal of who she really is and all of that, the very, very, very end feels a bit too convenient for the film. Like the movie is ending, and each bullet point in the film's end, it feels too convenient for like that character and that climax. Overall, that was my review. I really hope you enjoyed that. I'm sorry if I didn't critique this movie so much, but it's because I loved it. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. So it's hard for me to critique when I love that movie that much, but I already said that about the ending. So I'm really happy that New Line Cinemas and Warner Bros. Were the ones that produced this film, because obviously I feel like this concept, if it was made by somebody else, I think that it could have felt heavily, you know, because obviously two like other films related to this one have been made by different companies, and those two films didn't really succeed for me. Like I wish those films will have been differently for me, you know. And I'm very excited that New Line Cinemas is here, and I'm very excited that they're gonna be making films. So I'm very happy with Companion, and it's just January 31st, so there is so much like left in this year. So I really wonder which other horror films are gonna get a perfect rating for me. But for that, we just gotta wait and see. Let me know if you have watched Companion, and I would love to read your comments. I would love to read your opinions about it. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Are you feeling mixed about it? Let's interact. So I really hope you have a nice end of the week. We will talk so soon. Probably my next video will be my January recap, and also expect my Hard Eyes review, the Monkey review, and so much like top 10s, deep dives. Like this year it's gonna be so different here at Real Horror. But for now, take care of yourselves. We will talk so soon.